Welcome to the Type 1 Lifting Podcast. Now enjoy the show. All right, guys, I want to tell you a little bit about Type 1 Lifting. So Type 1 Lifting is a clothing brand that proceeds of the shirts, the hats, and everything else go to the Children's Diabetes Foundation. This whole t-shirt company started from me taking care of a 5-year-old girl from the emergency department at the Children's Hospital I worked at in Atlanta for a while back. I thought I needed to do a little bit more than kind of just talk about my story. So this is how I started the clothing line, because I wanted to show people that even though diabetics have this really bad disease, we can still do amazing things in our life, and diabetes won't stop us reaching our goals. So go check out type1lifting.com. And, if you have any questions, you can always reach me out on Instagram. It's Type 1 Lifting, and hope you guys enjoy the show. Hey guys, we have a new sponsor for the Type 1 Lifting podcast. The company's called Liberté Lifestyle. So Liberté is a French word meaning freedom, and the company was founded on the desire to have freedom to choose what we want to do with our lives. I actually had the owner, Nicole, on my podcast on episode 28, so if you want to go back and listen to her, she talks about how she started the company and what she wants to do in the future with the company, which is pretty cool. So they actually have knee sleeves, wrist wraps, shirts, shorts. Love the knee sleeves. I have the ice cream knee sleeves, and I love them so much. The neoprene's still good. The seams haven't split compared to other knee sleeves that I have had in the past, and I'm planning to keep these for a very, very long time. So Nicole actually gave me a promo code for you guys too. So it's all capital letters, TYPE, and the number 1. So it's Type 1. So go to libertelifestyle.com, check out what they have in the store, use the promo code Type 1, and save some coin. Now let's go to the episode. All right, guys, welcome to another episode of the Type 1 Lifting Podcast. I have a very interesting guest. I've been following him on TikTok for quite a while. So he also owns a CrossFit gym as well. This is influencer Jeff Zwally. How you doing?
Good. How are you doing?
Not bad. Thank you for coming on the show. When I first saw you, it was pretty much on TikTok. And so, but before TikTok, I want to kind of talk about, and even owning a CrossFit gym, I kind of want to talk about how you even got it started. Because I know in the beginning you had a 9-to-5 job. So what were you doing at your 9-to-5 job?
So believe it or not, for the last, I'd say 30 plus years, I was working in the fast food industry.
Okay.
So I went to Penn State and have a bachelor's in microbiology and a master's in food science. And of all things, I ended up graduating with my master's and going to work for Domino's Pizza Corporate in Ann Arbor, Michigan. And I worked for them for 20 years. Great job, great company. Ended up 8 years in international, basically traveling the world.
That's awesome.
All things, developing pizza cheese and pizza sauce, like in Australia and Korea, Taiwan, Greece. I remember one time sitting in Athens, Greece, thinking, how the hell did I get here? It's kind of like backtracking, like this led to this, led to this. And now I'm sitting here in Athens, Greece, going to a pizza supplier for Domino's Pizza. So I did that for 20 years. And after 20 years, I kind of wanted to do something different. So I ended up taking a job down in Miami with Burger King and kind of doing the same thing there. My roles at Domino's and Burger King were basically developing new products. So I led the menu development team and marketing. Mm-hmm. So my team was the one that came up with the Philly cheesesteak pizza and, the Buffalo the Buffalo wings, and then was at Burger King for 4 years and left there and ended up in Southern California working for all places, Jack in the Box. So I tell people I spent the first 30 years making people unhealthy. Now I'm spending the rest of my time making people healthy, and kind of semi-retired. Not really my choice. Was laid off, let go, left the industry 4 years ago. Yeah, 4 years ago. Took a year off and then ended up investing and buying a CrossFit gym.
Okay.
That's what I've been doing the last 3 years. CrossFit.
So were you typically like eating like when you were working at Domino's and then Burger King and Jack in the Box, you were like eating their food and stuff?
I would literally come down like a Jack in the Box. I would literally come down to the test kitchen, and at 9 o'clock in the morning, the person who was in charge of the burger category, I would have 9 burgers lined up in front of me.
Oh, jeez.
And I mean, we would use spit cups like they do in the wine industry,
Yeah, yeah.
because you can't eat all this stuff. So you chew it and then you spit it out. But like 9 o'clock, I'm eating burgers, and 10 o'clock, I'm having fries, and in the afternoons, it's shakes and chicken sandwiches, and you know the food's good, but after a while, my focus in terms of kind of what I really wanted to do was not that. I loved the creative part, the marketing and creating things, but it got harder and harder to eat that food every day.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you that. So,
Yeah.
with Domino's, I know you said you make the Philly cheesesteak burger. Did you do the barbecue chicken one too as well?
Yeah. I mean, when I was, and this is like 15 years ago, um, we were doing like, we would come out with like 5 or 6 new pizzas a year. So we were always coming up with something different. But I worked on like the Philly cheesesteak pizza. My team developed the buffalo wings, the New York style, the deep dish. We did all that.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
cool. Very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I know you said you just got sick and tired of eating it. So were your taste buds kind of like out of whack just for eating the same stuff like over and over, or just trying new things?
Yeah. It's weird because when we would eat all this, we wouldn't swallow it. We
Yeah.
would chew it and then you spit it out. So it does weird things to your brain. So your brain thinks you're eating, but then like you're still hungry. So it was, yeah, it was a lot. I mean, I loved it, but even people at work were like, "Hey, he's in charge of coming up with new products, but he's never eating the food." So it was time for me to move on to something else. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, I missed the money for sure.
Well, yeah, of course. Yeah, I can
Yeah.
imagine. So, so when did roughly, well, actually before the CrossFit thing, so was your whole life kind of thinking like, okay, I need to like rise up in the corporate ladder pretty much and just kind of like retire after a certain level and like, yeah, and like never even thought about like owning a gym at all?
I mean, if you would have told me when I was like going to college that I'm in my 50s, I'd be living in Southern California and running a CrossFit gym, you're crazy. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm a boomer. So, back then it's like you graduate, you go to college, you get a job, you stick with the same job for 20 years, you kind of raise up.
Yep.
And I mean, I was at Domino's for 20 years, and again, it was the best probably part of my career. But it was always like the next title, the next movement upwards, and being mobile. And but I finally got to a vice president level here at Jack in the Box, and like I said, the money was great, but I was not happy. It was stressful. Politics. So you chase all this for years, and then it's like, well, shit. The money's great, but I would literally go into the office and think one more day closer to retirement.
Yeah.
It was like sucking my soul away.
Yep.
Then I go to the gym and it's like, I love this.
Yeah. 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 So when did CrossFit come about?
I started doing CrossFit like 10 or 11 years ago when I was still down in South Florida. So 11 years ago, I took my first CrossFit class in Fort Lauderdale.
Okay.
Had read an article, I think it was in Men's Health or GQ, about this new training routine, CrossFit. And, I'd always gone, I was never good at sports, was never on a sports team, hated gym class when I was in high school, always the last one picked. And, I lifted, you go to the global gym, you do your thing, but nothing ever changed for me. It wasn't until I started doing CrossFit 11 years ago, but it wasn't, I'd say, until I came out here to San Diego, and maybe 7 or 8 years ago, I really started getting serious with like understanding like lifting and the movement and that type of thing. Yeah.
So you before CrossFit, you were typically used to like the bro splits kind of deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Curls and bench press and, but I didn't know what I was doing. You're just kind of going and like using the machines.
Yeah, yeah, and that's pretty much like everyone when they first start, like you start out, or just like, I mean, I've been a personal trainer for quite a while too. Before, I had to unfortunately go corporate, but actually, I'm glad I went corporate. Wink, wink. But anyway, but it's I still see the same people like over and over again, still doing the same thing, and it's just like after a while, like, you look at yourself like, hey, this may not be working. Let's try something different. But everyone's set in their routine and they do the same thing over again. That was kind of like me too. I was doing, you know, typical bro splits, and then all of a sudden I saw the movie 300, and that's how I started CrossFit, pretty much doing like the 300 workout. And then I was at an Air Force base when I was in the military, and it was just like they had a CrossFit gym, and they're like, oh, you need to do like a 2-week on-ramp program. And I'm like, oh, okay. And I walked in there. I'm like, I want to do CrossFit. And they're like, well, you look pretty fit. So let's see what you can do for the first day. Then maybe I'll put you in the on-ramp. And then the first day, they're like, yeah, you don't have to do the on-ramp program. You're good. So I was like, okay, all right, good. I'll take it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so when you started CrossFit, like you said, you did your first class, was that like the first day, like you kind of got hooked, or you're just like, okay, this is kind of for me, or were you like, I don't know about this?
Yeah. I mean, 11 years ago, I kind of feel it's changed quite a bit. I did it for like a year in Florida, and I don't know if I was hooked. I liked it, but there wasn't really a community vibe at the box I was going. It was more
Mhm.
like you show up, you work out, and then you leave. And back then it was still pretty intimidating too, because I really wasn't that fit. And then I came out to Southern California, kind of had a bad experience in one of the boxes here. They threw me up on the rings and had me doing like ring progressions, and I almost like torqued my shoulder, and it wasn't run very well. So I took like a year off and went back to the global gym. And said one time thought, okay, I'm going to try it again, and went to a box here downtown, and that's when I got hooked
Okay.
because they had all the I think all the right components in terms of the programming, the community, the coaching, just the vibe of the gym, and that's when it's like, okay, now I get it. Now I get
Yeah.
it.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I think coaching is like a huge aspect of like retention for clients too. So, I mean, if you have like exactly like you're doing ring progressions and you're not ready for it, there's like,
Yeah.
there's no point in like,
Yeah.
it's
I mean, yeah, and I mean, I tell people when they hear I own a CrossFit gym, it's like, oh, that's you're going to hurt yourself. And it's like people, I'm still dealing with that. It's like, well, people hurt themselves for two reasons. There's bad coaching and there's ego. You're trying to RX it or you just have bad coaches. But yeah. So then I joined this gym, was there for about 3 years, and the GM left to go to this other box, which is the one I now own. And I followed him over there and had been at Stay Classy for really almost since they began. So about 8 years. 8 years.
okay. Okay.
Yeah.
And when did you finally think about like buying the gym? Like how did that whole process work?
So I've been going into the Stay Classy CrossFit for 8 years, and got to know the owner fairly well, and kind of in passing one time said, hey, if you're ever looking for an investor or a partner, I'd be interested. And I don't know if this was before or after I left corporate, but Stay Classy here is known, they call us the gypsies because we've been in business we're finishing our 9th year, but we've moved 8 times in 9 years for various reasons. So that was what got me in as an owner. So we were in a location at one point, and the landlord was asking us to relocate for a couple months so he could finish the build out. And the owner was like, we're not going to move for 3 months and then move back here. So when they were looking for a temporary spot to move us in, he found this larger location, which was double the size that we were in. And that's when he approached me and said, "Hey, I think now's a good time to bring in a partner uh, because we were going to really deck this place out with like rolled flooring and new equipment, bigger size," and came in through that investment and became a co-owner.
Okay, cool. So and now and this is the place you're in right now, correct?
So the one I invested in was like 3 locations ago
Okay.
because COVID hit.
Oh yeah.
And when COVID hit, we had been in that location. It was sweet, man. This was like it was an old depository with like these concrete walls and high ceilings, skylights, and we started a side hustle of we put our gym on this website called Pure Space, where you rent out your facility, and it had a really cool vibe and great lighting.
Hmm.
And we were getting contracts and work with like Rain Energy Drink and coming in and filming commercials.
Oh,
And we
cool.
were having fitness influencers fly in from Chicago to rent out the space for their photo shoots. And but then COVID hit, and we were forced to move out. And we had been in that space about a year and a half, and the landlord still hadn't done the build outs on the bathrooms and showers. So when we moved out for COVID, and we were finally able to go back in, we said, you know what, we're going to break the lease because he was never going to finish those build outs.
Yeah.
As part of COVID, we relocated outdoors, and we're in this space, which is sort of like a hybrid indoor outdoor space here at San Diego.
Yeah. Which
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 is
I which is sick. Like if anyone gets to see this his video like his on his TikTok videos, he has his gym on there, and it's like I think it's so cool that you have these like big doors that are opened up like go outside, and it's like inside and you can kind of like be in both places at once. And I know you've did an
What?
episode. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Oh, so I know you had an episode of how you fix like when it rains out and how you like kind of clean that stuff. I know that's super annoying, but like that if you have a chance to see his gym, it's so sick. I love
I
it. I
mean,
think it's so
luckily
cool.
it doesn't rain that much in San Diego.
Yeah.
But I mean, we have drop-ins who come in just because they see that on social media, like because we're right down the street from the convention center,
Hmm.
so we get a lot of drop-ins coming in, and they come in just because they know they're going to be able to work outside. And during COVID, all the boxes were outside, but you would think living in San Diego, someone would have figured out, hey, a great business model would be like this indoor outdoor space
Yep.
because they're going to be building condos in there, so we're going to eventually have to move. But we definitely love the outdoor space.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like obviously, if there's openings to get inside too. Have you had any issues of people breaking in at all or?
No, I mean, once, because we have security cameras.
Yeah.
We share that space with 2 other tenants, but we really haven't had that much of an issue. And when they did get in, they took the iPad. I mean, kind of kettlebells and
Yeah.
plates and things like that. But no, we haven't had any security issues.
Okay.
Luckily.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, how did you get the name Stay Classy? Was that from like the Anchorman movie, or how did that come about?
100%. Yeah. The founder, Lee J, was trying to come up with all these like names, and the way he tells it, he was flying on a plane and he was going through this list. Nothing really was like popping out to him, and the Anchorman movie came on, and he said, "You stay classy, San Diego." And he goes, "That's it."
Very cool. That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. So, how do you? So I know you've gotten like newer equipment and stuff like that. So, like, can you tell us like what the equipment, not the entire equipment list, but like what do you have in the gym that kind of separates your gym from like other gyms?
I mean, we have everything that you would think a CrossFit gym would have except ski ergs. And model prior, it was almost like unlimited in terms of clients coming in for a class.
Mm-hmm.
We would scramble if all of a sudden we had 16 people signed up for a class. But after COVID, we started this 12 max, and we built the rig out. So it's I'd say it's a there's six. It's a 60-foot rig, double sided.
Wow.
So we've got 12 racks, 12 squat racks. So we can do 12 positions. Everyone has their own, rig. We have 12 bikes. We have 12 rowers. And then because of the way we have the outdoor space, we were able to do 2 classes at once. So a couple times a week while the CrossFit class is going on, kind of inside the warehouse, we've got barbell going on outside, or like we call it a burn class going out. So I say what sets us apart really is more than anything else, it's just the outdoor space.
Yeah.
And the vibe. I mean, we have the same equipment that everybody else has, ropes and bikes and rowers and that type of thing. But 9 times out of 10, it just happened today. Someone dropped in. It's like, shit, cool. I've never seen anything like this before. Because usually it's like in a strip mall, and it's your typical gym. But we've always kind of gone out of the way to do something a little bit different because it kind of fits our brand.
Yeah.
Kind of like this quirky, weird box.
Yeah. Very cool. Very cool. So, how many clients do you have total, if you don't mind me asking?
Yeah, I have no problem. Right now, so actually last year, right out of COVID, was our best year ever. And we were averaging anywhere from like 140 to 145. This year, right now, we're down about 15. We're averaging about 125 to 130. We have a lot of military. We're right down the road from the Navy station. So our client base kind of does this every month.
Yeah.
So we'll lose 10 to 12 members. And then by the end of the month, we've gained them back. Now, some of that's military being deployed, relocation, and we're in a pretty competitive market. I mean, Invictus is right down the street.
Yep.
But we've got 2 other boxes that are, I would say, within a 2-minute drive. But the 3 of us have very different demographics and vibes and community. So I had one guy come in, and he's new to town. He was dropping in at each box just to see how he felt. And I think we each have found our own little niche in terms of pricing, community, coaching, and just culture. Yeah.
Okay. Very, very cool. So, do you guys do the programming, or do you have like another company do it? Like, and like, what's your pretty much like idea of like programming for your box?
Yeah. So we've always done our own programming. The last, I'd say, year and a half, Garrett Fisher has been doing our programming.
Oh, cool. Very cool.
Yeah. So, story here. So Invictus is right down the street.
Yeah.
And Garrett and Lauren trained there. And when we were at the location where I invested into, one day we got this email from Garrett that said, "Hey, was reaching out to see if you would be interested in needing any coaches on staff." So he came by, and we hired him as a coach. And he was coming out of an injury and said that his competing days were done, but he loved the community and still wanted to stay within CrossFit. So we brought him in as a coach, and he coached for us for about a year. And then him and his girlfriend moved out to Charlotte. And right before he moved, we had him doing our programming.
Okay.
And when he moved, we decided to keep him on to keep doing the programming.
Okay, cool. Very cool.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's a little, I guess, feather in our cap to have him doing it, but we've looked at the CAP programming and talked about maybe trying that out at some point, just for some consistency. But I don't know, I kind of always liked in-house programming because you kind of see how your athletes are doing and kind of what the vibe of the gym is. And
yep.
I kind of like doing it in-house. It's always worked for us.
Okay. So when Garrett Fisher came to the box, where you're like, Holy shit! It's a
Holy
CrossFit
shit.
athlete. Like this guy's and he's like, and he's tall. Like,
He's,
granted,
he's a
he's
big
like
guy.
six. Was he 6'4" or
Yeah,
6'3"?
yeah, he's a big
Yeah,
guy.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. What was it like seeing him for the first time? And like you're like,
Uh, I mean, you knew the people who knew who he was. So like when he would come in and coach, you could see it's like people would react like it's like Garrett Fisher. And then you have some people, it's like, I have no idea who that is. It's just a coach.
yeah,
And then we'd have, I mean, this is back in the, when regionals was still around. And at the OG, the very first location, we had Tia come in one time because she was here doing regionals.
okay,
Just like 7 years ago. And this is before she was who she is now. And she came in and trained the few days before the regional events. And looking back, it's like, shit, Tia
yeah,
came in the gym.
that's cool.
Uh,
That's very cool.
yeah, yeah.
Awesome.
So,
So, how do your affiliate members kind of help you out becoming a better coach and like better a gym owner for you?
you mean other affiliate owners?
No. I'm just saying. I'm sorry. No, I meant your clients. How do they help you become like a better coach and a better gym owner?
I mean, we get a lot of feedback, but everyone's sort of like an expert in CrossFit.
Mm-hmm.
So you always have those people. It's like, well, everyone's saying this. It's like, who's saying this? Like everyone, or just a couple of you?
Yeah.
How do they make us better owners? I mean, I'm there every day. And I talk to them a lot about the programming, the vibe, the culture. I would say I just wrote the newsletter for this month, and we have this month over 20 people celebrating their 4th anniversary,
Oh, cool.
which, yeah, so there was I'm going to divert here for a second. So stay classy, a little backstory. So there was the box downtown. It was originally called East Village.
Mm-hmm.
This was 9 years ago. And at one point, it was the only kind of box in town other than Invictus. And within 1 week, 2 of the coaches at East Village left to sign leases to open up their own box within the same week. Neither of them knew that they were signing leases literally within a block of each other. So the Coronado Bridge here in San Diego,
Yep.
literally on one side of the bridge was Stay Classy, and on the other side of the bridge was Fathom CrossFit. And those coaches signed leases the same week. So when Stay Classy would run their 400-meter run, we would run right next to Fathom.
That's funny.
So Fathom ended up in a retail space, and the rent kept going up. So about 3 years ago, they ended up closing, and most of those members transferred over to, or 4 years ago, transferred over to Stay Classy. So we had a big contingent coming from Fathom that are now in their 4 year. But in terms of what makes us me a better affiliate owner is, again, just listening to the members, really.
Mm-hmm.
And making the changes and keeping abreast of kind of like the vibe in the gym, because I think it can change really quickly if you're not careful. So yeah, I'd say just getting feedback from them all the time.
Okay, cool. Now, since you're an affiliate, have you had help from CrossFit to kind of make your box a little bit better, or what?
Honestly speaking,
Yes.
not really, no.
I kind of figured, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we went through the whole debate about de-affiliating a couple of years ago when all that was going on, and at one point we thought we were, and then when Erica came in, we thought, well, let's give them a try, and because we really do believe that CrossFit brings value. I mean, a lot of people Google it and looking for a box to drop in. So, but we stuck with the affiliation. It's interesting because I've worked in the franchise side for 30 years.
Yeah.
A completely different model than a licensee model. So I get it. But I think at some point when you're like this global brand, granted, we're only paying $3,000 for the trademark, but and we had our affiliate rep come in and visit us, and I was honest with them. It's like, as an affiliate owner, I find out more about what's going on through Morning Chalk Up or podcasts
Yep.
than I do from CrossFit HQ.
Yeah.
And I just think they can do a better job of like treating us like owners.
Yep.
Like, hey, we're bringing in a new interim CEO and sending out a newsletter or just something rather than reading it on Morning Chalk Up. Or I don't know. They're trying, but and then with the Dave leaving and then coming back, and I don't know. We do our thing, and I follow what's going on, but I don't feel like anything's changed in the last 2 or 3 years as an affiliate owner.
Yeah, yeah. Now, since Dave coming in, just recently getting hired and just helping out with the affiliates, do you? Because I know, I don't personally know, but I've heard that he is all about helping the affiliates out and all about the affiliates of CrossFit. Now, do you think him stepping into that new position that he's in right now may help CrossFit and the affiliates a little bit better?
I hope. Yeah, I mean, I hope so.
Yeah.
But I'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, you'll see it when you believe. You'll believe it when you see it, pretty much.
Yeah, because I mean, again, speaking from the franchise model, and again, I don't think it should be exactly the same. I mean, I would love for them, rather than just offering like L1 training, to offer like business classes.
Yeah.
Like how to run a gym, how to do social media, how to do marketing, P&L statements and balance sheets, and how affiliates can work together and that type of thing. And I think there's a lot they could do to help the affiliate owners.
Yeah.
And things that they have done that I feel like haven't led to any. What was the thing that they were doing? They were beta testing that online course where people could go on and pay a fee and do their onboarding online.
I didn't hear about that one.
Yeah, they were doing like a foundations class online. They were doing this beta testing so that people who had never done CrossFit before could go online and kind of go through like the foundations, so that then when they go to a box, they could maybe like opt out of like basics because they've done it online.
Okay, yeah, I do remember hearing about that. Yeah.
But then nothing really like happened.
Yeah. And the problem with that is like you're not. It's like, granted, you're doing the testing online. You're not having like coaches like side by side, and you're not even in a box, and like you don't know if like the box you go to is going to be a good one. And so I
think there's a lot more they could be doing than they're doing now. So wait and see. But even during COVID, I would have loved for them to come back and said, "Hey, you guys were closed for X number of months," and and because I know franchisors and franchisees did this, it's like, we're going to reduce your marketing fee for the remainder of the year. So we're going to discount your affiliate fee. So we're going to take 50% off when it comes up for renewal. Something.
Yeah.
Anyway. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, and then I heard, I don't know if this is true. I know you say you were thinking about de-affiliating, and I've heard if you want your CrossFit gym to do the open and you're not affiliated, just have 2 staff members or like somebody that they've taken the coach's class, and then you don't have to worry about an affiliation fee.
Correct.
So have you thought about doing that?
No, I mean, the way I looked at that this year was that in the years past, you had to go to a box to do the open. So it got people coming into the box that maybe would have never experienced CrossFit. So to me, that's the opposite of helping affiliate owners, because now you don't have to go to a box. You can just take the judge's course and judge someone in your garage gym.
Yep.
So how is that helping me? Because those people would have come to my box to do it. And at least I would have gotten a drop-in fee.
Yeah.
But now it's like anyone can go on and then I'm sure you've, I mean, seen the Andrew Hiller videos.
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
So you've got all that going on with judging. Yeah, so we always promote the open in our gym, and I would say, and we do the workouts Friday as part of the programming anyway.
Hmm.
So people are going to do the workouts, and then we do like a Friday night lights. But I'd say we had less people registering and paying the $20 fee this year than we did in years past.
Hmm. Yeah,
Yeah.
because they don't know what's going on, and so
Yeah, I mean,
why would you pay for
yeah,
something that you don't have know what's going on in the future?
yeah. And the average member isn't being caught up in the whole drama of, CrossFit.
Yeah.
I'd say about half of our members kind of like are into that, and the other half are just coming in to get a workout.
Yeah. Yeah. Half of them are watching the Hiller videos, and the other half
Yeah,
aren't. So,
exactly. Yeah,
so what do you think about Andrew Hiller?
I think he's great.
Yeah.
I've I've been saying this. I've been thinking the same thing. I mean, because I've made it to the online qualifiers twice now,
Okay.
and even this year, I was telling our GM, it's like, I didn't record anything because I knew I wasn't going to make it to the games.
Hmm.
But then I saw some of these Age Online qualifier videos, and it's like, shit. I mean, and these are like the top athletes.
Yeah.
And I mean, so I'm thinking, what are the guys like that aren't making it to games? What do their reps look like? Because when I finished, after they, I guess, verified all the results, I moved up like 15 to 20 positions after they cleaned everything up.
Hmm.
But yeah, it's an interesting discussion. I hope CrossFit is listening because I think he's making a lot of very valid points.
Yeah. He's making a lot of noise real quick.
Yeah,
Yeah. So,
yeah.
you were
I
talking
like
about,
what he's doing.
yeah, I love it too. I watch every video pretty much. So, so you were saying you were doing the online qualifier. Do you have any ambitions to go into the CrossFit Games, or is it just like just doing it for fun?
Uh, yeah, no. I mean, I joke now that I'll turn 59 next month, so I'll jump into the 60. So I'll be a newbie.
Yeah.
Uh, 3 years ago, the year I retired and when I bought the gym, I was really serious about it. I had a coach. I was training for it. I mean, I was there in the morning. I'd go in the evening. I was training hard because my goal was to get to the online qualifiers,
Hmm.
and I made it. I finished in the top. This was before they were taking the top 10%. So I finished in the top 200 in my age category and
Nice.
moved on. And the weekend of the age online qualifiers, I did two of the events Friday night. And one of them was this like 4,000 meter row and 80 bar over the row burpees and 30 snatches or something. And I came in the next day to do the deadlift workout. And I was warmed up with the deadlift. And something happened with my back.
Yeah.
And that did not feel good. And wasn't able to do any of the remaining three events. And the Monday morning, I herniated my disc.
Oh, that
So
sucks. Yeah.
I was on the floor for like 2 weeks and didn't have to have surgery, fully recovered. But yeah, I mean, do I want to make it to the games? Yeah, I think it's one of those things you think about, but I'm not training hard for it right now or anything.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And so you were also talking about social media, like, learning how to do social media. So obviously you're pretty well known on TikTok and you're pretty well known on Instagram. So how like first of all, like how did you even like want to sign up for an account on TikTok? And like did you even realize like you were gonna explode the way you did?
Well, it was during COVID. And then I was doing the social media for our gym, and I had my personal account and uh, got on TikTok during COVID and was just playing around with it. I had it as the gym account
Okay.
and really wasn't getting a lot of traction because it was a business account. So I thought, what the hell? I'll switch it over to my personal account. And then started getting more views. And I made this really, and they say this is what happens. I made this really quick video post of can you skip to the good part? That trending sound.
Yeah.
And it was me like in a suit, and skipping to the good part was like owning the gym. And this thing went off like over the weekend, and I think it's like 1.3 million views now.
Dang, that's crazy. That's crazy.
And I mean, people were reaching out to do like I got this woman from LinkedIn who saw on her TikTok and reached out to me on LinkedIn, and she wanted to interview me and put me on a webcast for this thing that they were doing on LinkedIn about the Great Resignation. And you're like the third person that's reached out to do a podcast with. And,
oh, cool.
And then just kind of got hooked doing, the TikToks and just having fun with it. And I thought it was going to do more of like a perspective of like a business owner, but now it's just more of a kind of a fun account. And
yeah, and I love it how you like kind of mix both together of like business and doing fun at the same time. So because I remember like you had that video of like how do I clean my gym after a rainstorm, and then like the next one you're just like doing like a doing a skit that you had like a voice. You're not even doing a voiceover, but like you had a voice at like talking, and then like you're doing something.
Well, that cleaning video with the Zamboni.
Yeah.
250,000 views. It's like of me cleaning the gym.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I don't get the algorithm, but
I don't either. I mean, I've gotten viral on one post. What it was I was doing 3 hang cleans, power cleans, and this girl was like in the background, and I didn't really notice in the video until my buddy showed me, and she's just sitting there staring at me like drinking water. And just watching me doing the cleans, and then like it just absolutely blew up because I put an arrow on her, and so like for some reason I hit like 600,000 views, but I haven't been able to hit that like after that. So
it comes and goes, and now it's just more for fun, and I like it. It's fun.
Yeah, and also you've gotten some like a little exposure on Instagram too as well.
Yeah, I've had that. I mean, because I'm running the account there and then my personal account, and then you start watching YouTube videos on how to grow and how to edit and that type of thing, and then you learn about the algorithm. And but I'm getting and now brands are reaching out, and they're paying me for like content. So I mean, people are sending me things to review and paying me for content. And sure. Why not?
Yeah, just wait. My wife's a social media influencer too. She's got like about 69,000 followers on Instagram, and like, man, once you start exploding, like we've gone on trips like fully paid for. We get like literally like packages like every single day on like, hey, here's our product, try it out, or like, here's the product so you could do a paid advertisement for. It's insane. And it's like and the thing is like I try to like I don't mimic her, but the problem is like she's fashion and like lifestyle. I'm more of a fitness podcast and like diabetes. Yeah. So that's like she's like all you do is do videos of like you lifting, and I'm like, well, I'm a fitness influencer. I'm not even calling it an influencer. I'm just doing a guy doing fitness and podcasts. So it's like completely different. So, but yeah, it's crazy how the algorithms like blows people up, and
Well, yeah, because I'm helping other people out now, and a couple other gyms have reached out to me here locally. One of our coaches left and opened up their own gym, and I'm helping her out, so I coach over there every now and then.
Mm-hmm.
But the algorithm is very different on TikTok because 95% of people watching your video there don't follow you. Mm-hmm. So every time you're posting, you're showing up to completely new people. Whereas on Instagram, it's pretty much your followers. And I'm growing a lot faster on TikTok than I am on Instagram. And yeah, that's a whole thing.
Yeah. Well, I need to talk to you offline just about that to grow my stuff. Okay. So, and Another thing I wanted to talk about, I remember one TikTok video you had. It was all the flags that you had lined up, and you had the pride flag in next to the American flag, and someone commented like, "Hey, you need to switch the American flag to the, switch them over." And I loved it how you actually listened to people's, like, obviously there's some people that write really crappy comments and stuff like that, and it's, comes with the territory. But I loved it how you actually, like, do videos of like people, writing about their comments,
Yeah.
and you listen.
Yeah, because I think I reacted to that more than anything because of the military that we have.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm going to respect it. So, so yeah, we have the POW, we have the pride flag, and we have the American flag. And I knew that the American flag was always supposed to be raised higher than the others.
Yep.
But we had the American flag in the center, and someone posted like, well, when you have a series of flags, the American flag comes first. So I put a video on of me changing up the flag. And that actually kind of went a little viral. And then someone commented, well, you have the pride flag backwards. So then I went and switched to that one. And then it became this whole thing, and people were calling it flag talk because my account was all about
flags. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I get, as I grew on and had, things go viral, you get those comments. But the way I handle them is I always respond and thank them for increasing my engagement.
Yep.
Because every time someone comments, and at first I took that really like personally, and it's like, it bothered the shit out of me.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, should I delete the comment? Should I respond myself? And I reached out to this other influencer that I was following, and I said to her, it's like, how do you handle it? Because she had like 500,000 followers. And she said, let your followers handle it for you. And sure enough, 9 times out of 10, I don't even have to respond, but other people will comment and to the hateful comments.
Yeah.
And I don't even have to respond.
Nice. That's
or
awesome.
if there is one, I'll pin their comment and put a video responding to their comment. And then 9 times out of 10, their comments deleted. They self-delete. So I don't worry about them anymore.
That's hilarious.
I mean, since you brought it up, I mean, we have a very diverse membership. My business partner is Filipino. I'm gay. So our whole vibe is, everyone's welcome. We have military, we have Trump supporters, we have people from San Diego. Yeah, I mean, it's a very inclusive, all welcome. I mean, we're in Barrio Logan, which is the Hispanic neighborhood of San Diego.
Mm-hmm.
So even where we've always been for the 8 years has been a very ethnically diverse neighborhood.
That's awesome.
And that's totally our vibe. And from the minute you walk in, whether or not you're going to fit or not.
Yeah.
So we've never had problems with anyone not fitting into the community. We offer a free trial for a week because even if someone comes and says, I want to sign up today, we tell them no. Take the free week. After the free week, if you feel this is a good fit for you, we'll sign you up. If not, go on your way.
Yeah.
So very rarely do we have people coming into the gym that are not a good fit because they know at the end of the week whether or not they're going to fit or not.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And typically, like within the first day or the first session, you're like, okay, I don't know about this.
Yeah, and it's not just the whole politics and that. It's we're not a very competitive gym either. Like,
yeah,
if you're looking for that, Invictus is, and it's like, hey, if you're looking for that, try out Invictus. And the guy I mentioned earlier, he was saying that he was going around trying out all the boxes, and I said, then you need to try Bear Republic down the street.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure you try them out and see, because we're looking for long-term members, and if it's not a good fit, I'd rather have them know before they join than not. So that's how we handled it.
Okay. I actually heard a news article about YouTube and their short stories. Have you thought about doing YouTube, because they're actually catching speed compared to TikTok?
I have the thing that I struggle with is I'm always doing like lip sync.
Yeah.
I'm like I I envy you that you can like do this podcast and just like put yourself out there. I haven't gotten that comfortable and like when I'm talking to you, it's fine. But putting that camera up and just like speaking to the camera and like I'm not there yet. I'm still working on that.
Yeah. Well, oh, it's funny. Most of those shorts are like TikTok videos, exactly like TikTok. So they're like, when the girls are like, why, like they have like the SpongeBob, like, why aren't you in your uniform? And then they'll just go back and they'll wear like something scandalous, which is like those kind of videos I can't even stand. But anyway, but like it's like those kind of videos, and like all your videos can be perfectly put on the YouTube Shorts, and you could probably make another killing too.
I'll have to try to check that out.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I know I've been told like even Pinterest, you can post this of all
Really?
places. Yeah,
I didn't hear about that. That's crazy.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So,
But
so with all your social media, do you have any plans of like hitting a certain number or anything like that at all?
no, I mean right now I'm just trying to like have fun with it. I
Yeah.
mean, I would like to grow. I feel like I'm still figuring out what I want out of it. Like,
Hmm.
yeah, I try not to like put too much on like if I do, I try to make it different in terms of like educational. Like, here's how to do a deadlift. That's like everyone does that. It's like
Hmm.
how can we make it different and more compelling? Uh, uh, I mean, I've thought about the whole age thing. I'm going to be 60 next year. Is there something there? But I don't know. I'm still kind of playing around with it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So we're getting close to the end. So one of the questions I had to you, since it's Gay Pride Month. So what does Gay Pride Month mean to you?
Wow. So, um, I mean, 30 years ago, so I graduated high school in 1981, and it was very different
Hmm.
back then. I mean, and I always knew, but you kind of push it down and think, okay, I can like pretend like I can change. And I mean, back then was like the whole AIDS crisis, so even that was like going through your head. So nowadays, especially here in our dark blue bubble of Southern California, very liberal state,
Yeah.
it's very different. So I think what gay pride means to me now is just showing people that you can be who you are and be out and proud about it. I mean, I never would have thought I'd be on a podcast telling someone that I'm gay. you know, I
Yeah.
don't know how many people are going to see it. And now with even like the social media, it's like at some point you got to own it. It's like life is short. Um, and it's like, what are you waiting for?
Hmm.
Live your moment, and
Yeah.
not just with your with gay pride, but the whole like leaving my job, and I see so many people like waiting to like be who they are or do what they want to do or travel, and you don't know what life is going to bring in next week and where you're going to be and how healthy you're going to do, and just do it and be
Yeah.
who you are. I mean, I think yeah. So for me, gay pride is just owning it and being who you are.
Hmm. Yeah.
So
So when a little quick story. So when I was in the military in the Air Force, like I've worked with like multiple. I was working in a hospital in Boston, so there was like pretty much the staff was 50-50, like gay men and like gay
yeah,
women to straight men, and so like I've never had an issue with gay people at all. Like there's I like whatever, it's your own prerogative or whatever. But like in the military, they just started doing the don't ask, don't tell thing. And so you have some people that like haven't had the exposure to being around a gay person or anything like that. And like I was telling like my roommate, he's like, well, what do you think about this don't ask, don't tell thing? And I'm like, let them be with who they want to be. My main concern is if I get shot, are you capable of pulling me away to safety? Like I don't care about your sexual preference. Like I don't really, just do your job. That's all I care about. And
right.
so
Well,
and like
okay.
no, you're good, you're good.
Well, and then we get. I mean, so where we're at with the military base, and I mean, I think we probably have a higher percentage of gay members than the CrossFit box in the neighborhood in
Yeah.
Hillcrest, just because I think as a gay owner, I really am out there promoting it and being who I am on social media. And we have military members who are gay who are coming in and they drop in at other boxes and they see that pride flag and they kind of know like, okay, I'm going to fit in here. Um, and that to me means a lot in terms of having military members who are now out coming into our gym with, straight military members. And it's just a cool vibe.
Yeah. Yeah. Very cool. All right. So, towards our last questions. So, do you have any goals, like personal or like business wise, that you want to hit at the end of the year?
Yeah. I mean, ideally, in terms of a business goal for me, two things. I would love to get to the point where we're continuously averaging 150 members. That to me is our sweet spot.
Yeah.
Two, finding a permanent long-term home. And that either that's leased or purchased. I mean, we would love to purchase a building, but to me, those are two very attainable. I think business goals is to hit that 150, and I know that's kind of an arbitrary number that people throw out there, but in terms of our business model and revenue, that's a really good sweet spot. And then to find a permanent home for us that we can really build our long future with.
Okay. All right. Cool. Anything personal wise?
Travel.
Okay. So what's your bucket list for traveling this year?
So I have a 2-week trip planned in September to Croatia.
Oh, very cool. Very
Yeah,
cool. Yeah, that's
yeah,
awesome. I've heard nothing but like amazing things there, especially their beaches
that's
and everything.
cool.
So yeah, yeah,
Look forward to that.
you're gonna have a blast.
Yeah.
So what's your favorite book?
My favorite book. Ooh, my go-to has always either one of two: Dune by Frank Herbert
Okay.
or Atlas Shrugged by Ayn Rand.
Okay. I haven't heard of that last one.
Dune, I'd say number one, Dune.
Okay. Okay. Very cool.
Yeah.
So what is in your gym bag?
Uh, Actually, I just got a brand new gym bag
I
from
saw that
Cleveland Athletic.
you posted it too.
It's a sweet bag. It's a photographer's bag.
Yeah.
Like how they put the lenses in, and they've got this like side panel where your shoes can go, and they call it like a shoe garage, which is pretty cool. But right now, I've got everything from like hand grips and knee sleeve and lifters, RX jump rope, my tripod, my Osme stick, Fuel for Fire, Knocko, Fit Aid, chalk, pumice. Yeah,
Awesome. You got everything.
I got everything.
And so I'm gonna go a little deep on this one. So let's just say you're on your deathbed. This is your last day on earth. You have everyone around you. How do you want people to know you as?
Oh wow, this is deep. We just asked the question, you're on your deathbed and what's your last meal the other day in one of the briefings. But how do people want to remember me?
Well, how do you
Is that
want
the
people
question?
to how do you want people to remember you as?
Um, wow. Um, First thing that pops into my mind is that someone who listened. Um, my biggest pet peeve is when I just want to be heard.
Yep.
You know, when I was hired at Jack in the Box, they made us go to the psychiatrist before they would hire us and put us through like psychiatry test. And one of the questions he asked was something similar to this. And I said, the thing that bothers me the most is when I have something to say and people don't hear me and people don't listen. And I think for me, I want to know that I listened to them, that they were heard. Because
Mhm.
when people come into the gym, you don't know what's going on in their head, what they've done on work, what's going on with their personal life. And sometimes they just want to be seen and heard and be recognized. And I hope that people feel that I did that for them. So
Okay. I like that answer. I like that answer. And also, obviously, TikTok is a good one. But if people have any questions about like engagement or like the algorithm or your gym or like how to get involved with the gym and like sign up, like where can people reach out to you?
DM me on Instagram. That my Instagram handle is Jeff_XFit.
Okay, awesome. Well, thank you for doing this. I really do appreciate it. And like I love your growth on TikTok, and I love looking at the gym and just seeing like how cool that gym is, and and especially I thank you for taking the time to talk to me about your whole life and your experience in CrossFit, and thank you for your time. I do appreciate it.
And I appreciate you asking. So it was a pleasure.
Yeah, awesome. Well, thank you.
Thanks.